We should be live. So, three, two, one, fake clap. Welcome to the AfrOtaku podcast, episode 52. I'm Mr. Good Guy, aka MGG, and I'm joined here by my co host who will introduce himself starting right now.
What's going on? It's Jugga.
What up, what up, what up? I am Gramps.
All right, let's kick it off in story time. And for this story time, we don't have a particular story. So, what we're actually going to discuss is a question. And the question here is going to be: would you recommend One Piece to someone new to anime? So let's say someone new comes up to you, hey, Afro-Taku guy, you look like you know a lot about anime. What should I watch? Is One Piece coming out on your suggestion list or not?
Nope. To make it
All right.
simple, nope. I mean, and that has nothing to do with the quality of the anime. It's simply the length, if I'm being real. Because One Piece, just because it's so stupidly long, it encompasses a decent amount of just anime's overall history without the series in itself, like multiple tropes, plot points, low-key filler, like at points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That if you really want to get someone into anime, it's just going to be way too overwhelming. Suggesting One Piece at the very start, because as soon as you start it, you're going to see how many episodes it is. And for people who just starting anime, they're not going to be splitting up, like looking at one anime show, another anime show, another anime show at the same time. So you're pretty much telling them, oh, from the very jump, here's over 1,000 episodes to just shove down your throat. And I feel like that's way too much. Like you should be starting off with a 12 or like a 24, in my opinion.
All right. I agree with that. To me, I'm on the same page. I just think it's too long, and if I recommend you spending all that time trying to catch up to One Piece, you could be watching. Uh, I may get some flack for this better anime, but also just like shorter series that can get you exposed to the anime world without having to do such a time investment that One Piece is. Because One Piece, while it's a great series, amazing, definitely deserves the respect that it gets. Um, it's really like it's a one note that you're getting there, and some of the stuff that you get from it, like to appreciate it, requires you to have experience in other anime anyways. Like you may not
That's
even
true.
appreciate One Piece to the degree that others appreciate it if it's your first anime, because you're just like,
That's true.
what, I don't get it, right? Or I don't see why this thing that Luffy's doing is so, different or important. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, for me, I think about it in the sense of the struggle it would take to even get to the point that we are in. Not even solely because of the length of it, but because of the period of bad quality. Well, I'm not gonna call it bad quality, but it's bad the quality that we're used to in all of our shows today.
That's true.
Everything has a much better animation quality this time period as compared to when it first. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to make you struggle through all of that roughness to see it eventually, start to change into today's
Right.
quality. I think about it like, so when somebody's trying to get into a certain type of a certain video game series, and let's say, for example, I like Skyrim and all of that. And if somebody's asking, yo, just so I can make sure I understand the lore, should I start from the very beginning of the game? And are you going to recommend that somebody gets into the very beginning of the game series if the first one that came out was all the way back
Mm,
in like 1990 something, where it was
All
freaking
right.
2D and pixelated
that's
or
fair.
whatever,
That's
just
fair.
so they can try to understand the lore of it, just to get through every single game or every one of those games that came out were in relatively shitty quality to what we're used to right now. I don't think anybody's
Right.
gonna want to dig through that dirt, and I feel like it's the same way with One Piece. Even if it wasn't extremely long, let's say if it were released, hell, one episode every every month over the course so far, I think it still would have been
Yeah,
rough to get through.
Yeah.
that's still what, like at least maybe 100. Well, yeah, it's still like 100 or so. But I mean, you do incorporate like a good point. Like if you get encountered that question, like, hey, I want to start anime, and they're like, like joyous, excited to start anime, etc., then like no, not One Piece. But you pointed out like an interesting point where if someone instead wanted to be like, yo, I'm actually curious to hardcore dive into anime and its history, then F around, like the whole script gets completely flipped, and you could actually be like a one-stop shop for you. Would low-key be One Piece, right? I mean, like it literally starts out like so long ago that you could, in a sense, again, look through anime's history through a pretty reasonable lens, just looking at One Piece. So
at
it's
least in
like,
the shonen realm.
You're right. Good point. No, good correction. But in that sense, it's like, yeah, you would be able to at least see at the bare minimum the progress of animation throughout the years, like Gramps was pointing out. So, like, if someone wants to like study anime, then One Piece would have to be on your list. I'll say that much.
And eventually, there probably will be people who have majors in anime studies.
Yo, don't sleep, bro.
Yikes.
I
That's a
definitely
yikes
see
for
that.
me. I don't know if I'm happy for that. But anyway, I don't want to confuse my kid.
Here, bro. We could be like TAs or professors up for Let's do
I
it.
feel you, but I already know I'm gonna be a weeb, and I'm gonna have kids that are gonna be weebs. I don't want them getting it twisted, thinking they could go and major in some anime studies, and I'm gonna be like, I'm flooding that dream. I'm like, no, bro, you can watch that shit here all you want, nigga. Don't go ahead and major in that in college. But anyways, shout out to all the anime studies majors out there, bro. Respect to you. But does that wrap up that topic? I think everyone said their piece, right, on it? Okay, cool. Let's jump straight to decent news then. Before we end off on the anime news, well, actually, let's start with the anime news and then get to the God of War Ragnarok stuff. So, first off, do you want to take away those announcements, Jugga, if that works?
Sure. I could. Let's see. So, as far as like anime, well, first, I guess to start off, at least what I wanted to bring up and just like gauge the group's reaction / excited for, if they are at all. But as most people in the anime world probably already know, is that Netflix is going to be releasing a live action Cowboy Bebop series, and the trailer, at least well, the opening credits, should I say, for that series have actually been released, and I gotta say that it's got me hyped to a point where I can only say that the opening credits has pretty much forced me to be like, all right, I gotta at least check out 1 or 2 episodes, because it was just so what's the word? It was so manga anime series correlated correctly, in the sense of like the opening was at least more or less just as the anime opening would be, same music, same scenes, and then same actual design as far as the opening credits go, and it looks mad decent. From the clips they were showing, they were paying homage to a decent amount of like episodes that really did occur in the anime, and kind of hinted towards, the villains and such, where it's going to be more or less like the anime itself and not take on a different take, which should be interesting in concept, considering what the Cowboy Bebop series was. But I was trying to recall whether you guys actually checked out Cowboy Bebop, or how you all felt about the series in general, and how you feel about this, because we're still talking about a live action Netflix anime series, and we already know the history with live action anime. It's just not good. So, I mean, it's not like people's hopes are really up there, but it's more like, you can see it. So,
All right. Yeah, I think from my perspective, I was one of the guys that missed the boat on Cowboy Bebop. It used to come on in my childhood. I didn't really get it as a kid. I was like 7 years old. I'm like, I don't know what all this space stuff
also
is.
fair.
Not enough hands being thrown. So it's always been on my list to come around to. I think my bigger question would be, is this one going to be worth the watch to feel like I got that experience, or is it better for me to just go back and watch the 90s series? Because personally, in my opinion, while I hope they execute the live action series well, to me, Cowboy Bebop is not a show that I think should be live action. I honestly feel like it would have done better with a animation reboot, because it's like space, futuristic, like all that other stuff. Like, I feel like we have come a long way in our ability to tell those stories like live action, but I still think it's not. I don't think this has the budget to tell the story that way. So I feel like an animation update with that same storytelling, but like a new style. Well, not a new style, the same style, but just refreshed. I would prefer, but people seem to be really hype about this live action route. So I'm keeping my my mind open to it being changed. But Death Note had a similar, hey, we're rebooting, come watch us, and I still haven't watched it because of how bad the backlash was. So I'm excited to probably watch it. I think I'm going to give a couple episodes a watch. I just wish, I know I won't have the answer to that question until after it gets released, but I'm hoping that it's very closely told to the Cowboy Bebop original story, so I can at least feel like I'm getting some of that from watching it, because like I said, it's on my list to go back to, and if I watch this, I'm probably gonna end up having to watch the anime anyway. So I would like to save the time that I'm gonna have to use, but if I can't, I can't. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it is hard for me to convince myself to watch the live action of any anime series, and
That's fair. Based on the history, it's fair.
so if they say live action, it could be the best anime in the world. It can be freaking, it could be any of the sports anime, and I still wouldn't watch it because I'm gonna be like, no, they gonna make it like Shark Boy and freaking Lava Girl.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Throwback. That's a throwback. What the hell?
So I'm like,
and even with like a stupid budget, you wouldn't even consider it.
So I would wait to see what the masses say, and I would still then probably be like, okay, maybe I'll watch a couple episodes, maybe. But Cowboy, yeah, just like what MGG was saying, I never watching it, while I was younger, so I can't really say I know anything about the lore or anything like that, because I'm, used to seeing a certain type of shows on the TV. Like, what the heck is this? This crap looks boring.
That's fair.
So
You're exactly.
To say I have that knowledge of it in that case, so I don't have anything to compare it to. It's almost like it's just a random show that's coming out in that sense, and I'm like, if I felt like watching it, hey. But I definitely would go back to the anime, because, like I was saying earlier, you're then trying to think about that quality that you got to struggle through.
It's tough, but I think because of how iconic that show is, they might have done some like Blu-ray updates, not change the animation, but made it so like that lower quality doesn't look as bad on like TVs nowadays. Those remaster type of joints. So. Who knows?
It's going to be like playing an N64 game on your 4K TV.
I enjoyed that. I just played Pokemon Stadium a few weeks ago. It was fun.
And that's what's up.
I don't miss that.
Shout out to the OD.
It's not that bad. To me, it's the size of the TV, right? Like, if you have a gigantic ass screen, yeah, probably that sucks. But like, if you're, in your room and your TV's not that far from you, like a 32-inch, 50. I'm talking like probably less than a 50-inch TV you're watching on. I don't think you're going to be hurt that much. And this is just coming from me who, at least when 1080p's were out, I watched One Piece from the beginning. So those first episodes were definitely a struggle. 360p is not fun. But this was like where they didn't remaster it at all. This is like, I found this shit online. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was able to handle it. So I think it's possible. Just like, if you think you're going to have a home theater set up and watch Cowboy Bebop and that shit is going to look dope, like, no, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a wait and see. I could see either or, considering like the amount of money, and even based on how, because I feel like the toughest thing that's going to be able to make live action is going to be the actual high speed space battles. Everything else should be reasonable, considering that once you're actually on planet doing Cowboy Bebop ish. It's just kind of like old school 90s, whatchamacallit, like scenery, architecture, more or less, from what I could recall. Like, there wasn't really that much special that was happening on whatever planet they were at. But as soon as space battles happen, it's an effing space battle. Like, it completely depends on your budget, pretty much. So I could see it going either way, more or less. But if anything, it's just an interesting throwback that they chose to do so. So I mean, time will tell.
All right. What do we got next? Demon Slayer, right?
Yep, Demon Slayer season 2 release.
Yep. So Demon Slayer season 2 release date was set for December 5th. Um, I already know what happens because I read the manga. But I did watch the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie, which I thought was decent. I don't remember if the article speaks to where they're picking up, but I'm assuming it's going to be after the events of the train. Um, oh, no, apparently not. To help with the wait, we'll see the release of the Mugen Train arc that will adapt the feature film with an original episode that will connect Tanjiro Kamado Unwavering Resolve arc with the Entertainment District arc. So it does look like we're going to take a second to recap some of the stuff in the movie. So I guess they're trying to be nice for the people that didn't go out to see it. But this next arc to me is going to be meh. Like I think the Demon Slayer fan base really isn't going to be, too shaken at all by this arc. Because like to me, like I said, my issue with Demon Slayer is more with the ending and the lack of exposition of a lot of elements in the world. But this way they told the story all the way to the end was pretty consistent. So I think niggas are still gonna get the pretty shit. Now we're just gonna get a pretty shit from the new pillar that he's gonna be following in this new arc. And the same old Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu type of fun. So I really, from my perspective, I know what I'm feeling about it. I'll probably watch it because most of the people that are new to anime in my family circle watch Demon Slayer, so by proxy, I'm going to watch the second season. But I don't think it's gonna carry much. I think I'm gonna leave with the same opinions I left with after season 1. That's how I will summarize it.
By someone that hasn't read the manga and on strictly the anime and pretty much watching it because I gotta watch it, and plus, I mean, we gotta be real. I mean, the animation is pretty; it's just pleasant to look at. That's definitely 100%, no matter who you are. Demon Slayer just got the hype, bro. Like, no matter. So the best way for me to say this is that I know season 2 will do well, but this is going to determine whether season 3 does well, based on what I know from, MGG and everyone else who's read the manga and told me, their reviews. So it's pretty much, is season 2, granted it may be lackluster, is the animation pretty much going to still be able to carry the entire series? And based on what we just saw from Mugen Train and just the stupid amount of money Demon Slayer now has, I mean, in my opinion, it's just simply the money's going to carry it. I mean, no matter right now, the money and the hype that's currently with Demon Slayer is just, I mean, it broke records, period. It's like, for me to see it stop now would be very, very, very surprising. I know that many people are hyped. I know that many people were brought on to anime simply because of Demon Slayer, and masses because of Demon. And season 2, I feel like it's going to drop numbers just by people tuning in the first place. So season 2 is going to get that same kind of hype that season 1 got, but I feel like this is pretty much their point to make or break it for a continuation. Because if season 2 lacks luster as far as plotting content, then that's when you're going to start to see the true decline. But I don't think we're really going to see it until when season 3 drops, if that makes sense. So that's my opinion or theory. We'll see what happens.
And you got me. I read the manga, baby. I ain't watching that shit. So if anything, just like with a lot of the anime where I've already read the manga, if there's a scene where there's a lot of hype around that shit or whatever, people were saying, oh yeah, that animation was crazy. I'll check it out on YouTube or whatever, but I'm not gonna go through the whole season just to see what I've already seen. Make me feel like I'm watching reruns or some shit.
Yeah, it's got to be that good. Someone on YouTube said Michael McCarley said he's ready for it. Tying episodes. He's gonna be watching it with his oldest kid. So I mean, shout out to you for putting that buddy on Demon Slayer name. Like, I like I said, I think it's definitely caught a following. So I can't really fault it, and it's not a bad series. It's just like Graham said, like I seen it.
I actually like that comment. So that actually question on if you had a kid and you wanted to have them start watching anime with you. We don't have to. If you had a kid, what anime would you have them watch with as they're growing up? If you had a kid right now.
Interesting.
I think Demon Slayer would be too tough just because I think it's violent. Like, if I'm thinking of it from like a parent perspective, I feel like, am I ready to introduce my kid to like gore in that way? It's not like overly gory, don't get me wrong, but like people get their heads cut off, shit happens in there that's a little bit dark. So I don't know if that would be where I would start introducing my kid. I think it's definitely going to be very like in your face shonen. I feel like it would be something like that. So like if I'm thinking of nowadays and I didn't go to like a throwback anime, I would pick that one that's I guess made by Akira Toriyama. I don't know. Is the name of the character. It's something about
Zero?
No, the main character's name is Dai, but I can't remember the name of the show. There's something about a dragon. I think it's a Dragon Quest anime.
Really?
Yeah, The Adventure of Dai. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai is one.
Interesting. Okay.
Where from what I've seen, I haven't really like delved deep into the series, but from what I've seen, it is very it seems very like basic battle shonen. So I think that would be a good start. I could even do Black Clover here and there, but I feel like that would be something that they would be able to get into because it's simple and I can watch because it's familiar.
I do isekais with them. Because I feel like
see, but those get a little pervy. That's my hesitation. A lot of them isekai characters be pervs, bro. On the low.
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong.
all the low.
I mean,
let's actually clarify real quick, Gramps. When you say like kid to watch with, like how old are we really talking about? We talking about like 7, 8?
Oh, dope.
Or we talking about like
I mean, shoot, whatever is the youngest age, starting from the youngest age that you want to have them start watching anime. So let's say, for example, they can really they can understand English good enough, and they can talk to you about the show and stuff like that.
All right, so we're talking about like middle grade school kind of. Okay, that's fair. No, I just wanted to be sure I understood. Okay.
Yeah. And at what point? At what point then would you upgrade them to the hardcore shit?
Oh, that's definitely like TH. I wouldn't be biased, in my opinion. I would just go with where I started. I'm like, all right. I was like, at a certain point, because they're from you, that there's an age where like they just are starting to watch this. They may not be telling you, but you know what age you started watching the shit you wasn't supposed to watch. So I would just be like, all right, bro, like you ain't gotta hide it from me. So like, yeah, I think probably I say sometime after 12, I think I'd probably just start introducing them to more adult stuff. But like Goblin Slayer is gonna come like way at the end of that. I'm talking about like 18. I'd be like, all right, go ahead, watch Goblin Slayer if you haven't already. But like, I wouldn't vocalize that conversation. I wouldn't want to vocalize that because I wouldn't be.
Maybe 16.
I wouldn't want to be responsible for him watching Goblin Slayer at a young age. You get me? If he found it on his own, watched it, enjoyed it, I would not like. And he told me like, Dad, I already seen that shit, or I would just be like, okay, hey, that's cool, son or daughter. Like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? It's not coming from me. But at 18, I'd be like, you watched the Goblin Slayer yet? No, all right. You go ahead and watch that.
Right, so, is there a difference though between if you have a son or if you have a daughter when it comes to watching stuff at a certain age?
Watching stuff? No, at least not from me.
Yeah, it might be a little bit there for me, but I'm trying to curb those feelings. But I know that I have that internally just from how I was raised. But I try my best to hold myself accountable for that when I catch myself doing it. Just to call out, Michael also added that they started, him and his daughter started with Inuyasha in Studio Ghibli movies. So Ghibli were like Spirited Away and stuff, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And then she said she loves Fruit Basket as well. And then JJM said that he's excited for Demon Slayer. So yeah, I think those are actually good starts. Like Inuyasha, even though it came on Adult Swim, and there's some adult themes, it's not too crazy. So I could see that. And then Studio Ghibli, like, I mean, those movies are just like beautiful. I wasn't a big fan of those movies, but I could definitely get behind watching them again, like A Spirited Away or Princess Mononoke, I believe, was the one I enjoyed. So I might have him watch that.
I mean, Totoro is always like a child classic in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like really chill, really slow, but they could like ease them into it. So yeah, I can see that.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna be watching like kitty shit with them on a regular basis, like Barney types of shows or whatever,
Does he even exist anymore?
Your mind is gonna be much more inclined to being able to watch the more kid friendly anime anyway.
Yeah, but see, I like what
I would progression though. I mean, because you're starting so young, it's like you don't want to throw nothing crazy. Like it needs to be a steady incline, right? Because you got the time. And especially since you're guiding them, I mean, they're going to be going through anime a lot faster than you probably back in your day anyway, right? So
yeah. All
to me,
I know is we definitely could be watching a shit ton of sports anime.
Damn, that one I think that actually could work because you don't have to catch as many like there's not symbolism that they have to catch, bro. It's pretty straightforward in what you get. It's like a Disney movie. That's what I was trying to get at. Is like I would love to watch anime with my kids that are similar to Disney movies, not in the way the stories are told, but in the way they're like written. No, so like Disney movies are written to reach multiple layers of audiences. Like you could watch a Disney movie solo as an adult and not feel weird about watching it. The same way, like you and your kids could watch a movie, the same way your kid could just watch that movie. You get what I'm saying? So I would look for anime that kind of stretched in that way. And I think sports anime is a good one there because it's like, it's not so complex that they're missing something, right? Like, I couldn't watch Death Note with my toddler or like my teenage kid, really, depending on what age, like early teen, because they're just not going to get some of the stuff. Like, they're just like, what? Okay, what? So I'm looking for those things that kind of like stretch across. Like One Piece could be that, but it's just too goddamn long. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things. But if I started from like if they started from the young age, then basically by the time they became a teen, we caught up. So it's like, all right, we're gonna start watching a few episodes here and there. Like, oh, remember One Piece, and just keep it going, kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon. Just like every Saturday, we watch 2-3 episodes of One Piece. And then eventually, by the time they grow up, they're at that, they caught up. And they're in the same rabbit hole as their dad is. Waiting for this shit to end.
Talking about my guy, they gonna be watching One Piece by themselves. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna give you some homework.
Damn.
Some One Piece. I mean, when you at least halfway to why,
right?
Then I'll start joining you.
Work, see me in Wano.
I'll watch it with them because to me, you already know me. Like it takes me about 2, 3, 4 tries to really catch the symbolism and some shit. So I already know I missed out a lot in One Piece. So that rewatch is gonna be me going like, "Oh, this is what them niggas was talking about," because I definitely didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, I'm going from Hunter x Hunter. I'm gonna be like, yeah, when you get to Wano, and I'm gonna lead my kid's life.
Damn.
Let's get to it.
Wow.
Damn.
All right. Ready to jump into the last piece of decent news?
Yeah.
Oh, facts. We were on decent news. Right?
Yeah, we were. Actually, I'll let you kick it off, Gramps, because you're the resident gamer here, so you can talk about it.
Yeah, man. I don't know if y'all niggas played the original. Well, not the original, but the previous version, latest version of God of War that came out, and how hard that game. So they recently released a trailer for the newest version, God of War Ragnarock, that's getting ready to come out. And they, basically at the end of the previous version, they kind of started to build hype Thor, because at the very end of the game, after you complete has to offer, they show San Andreas, they at the crib or whatever, and they start to hear some shit outside. They open the door, they see somebody standing outside the door, and they see that hammer with the electricity going around. Niggas like, ooh. So they definitely knew how to give you a very get you hyped for that next game because you're like you finally gonna get Thor because I'm pretty sure that's what niggas really mainly wanted to see, the versus
Thor and Odin
between Kratos and Thor. Loki could probably make a versus video on that while we're talking. But
we already know how that's gonna go down. That boy's gonna get his spine pulled out of his body. And I'm talking about Thor. You already know Kratos gonna play that. It's gonna be a gruesome death. We don't know how it's gonna power, but it's gonna be gruesome.
Kratos already killed a god of thunder. He killed Zeus, his own daddy.
That's true. That's true. So, that's why, and I'm sure he's gonna make some jokes that echo to that fact as well in the battle. Like, oh, you're not the only thunder nigga I fought before, bro. You're the only one.
He said, oh, re-rhyme. Let's do that.
Bring it back.
But there's though. Let's get into this about the way that they actually released how Thor looks in this latest game that's about to come out. So I think everybody falling in love with the image of Thor that you get from the Marvel movies. I can't remember, but
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Everybody likes the whole Chris Hemsworth, handsome guy with a nice fit body, except for, when he was in Endgame, when he had the nice little gut or whatever. And everybody, fell in love with it. But, when they showed us, the, very, I guess you could say, overweight version of Thor, would probably be more realistic lifestyle of people who
100%.
People who lived that lifestyle that they would
in
have.
Valhalla. 100%.
I can only assume. I'm like, okay, that's not an image that anybody expected. That's definitely a lot of shell shock when people first saw this video. First saw this picture. I'm pretty sure a number of people were like, I like that because this actually gets 100%. This is realistic. And so now you have a huge, fight between the people that want Chris Hemsworth and people that want lore realism.
Yeah. I feel like what I would add to that too, like you said, for me, the way I looked at it at first, and then this is the stuff that came to my mind as you were speaking. First, I looked at it as like, okay, the way I understand Valhalla or how it worked from various TV shows, I'm not a Norse mythology buff by any means, so this could be corrected, was that it's heaven for the warrior, meaning that like as a warrior, you fight all day, your injuries get healed at the end, and you basically party and fuck and then do the same shit tomorrow. Like that's your eternity. So the way I understand that is the god of that party is Thor, right? And this nigga is drinking and fucking all day and then going out and just fighting motherfuckers. So I totally see why he would be an overweight Viking, because I think what people don't understand about like swole people is like the way muscle building people are put today is like the reason why you see all those, biceps and all these like toned, defined muscles. It's usually because they're like competing, right? They're showcasing all of the muscles they've built. But when you build like functional muscle, where it's just like I'm building muscle like as a warrior, or I'm building muscle as like a combatant, your body looks totally different because you're not worried about fucking six-pack abs. Your goal is like, does it work, and do I have enough energy to use those muscles? Right. Which means you carry a decent amount of fat because you're going to draw from that on days where, hey, nigga, I can't eat today because I just been out here fucking battling for like 20 hours. So to me, I thought it was an accurate depiction of what I would think Thor would look like. I actually like it, and I feel like it fits the whole vibe of the God of War franchise anyways. To me, I wouldn't want no pretty blonde dude like pulling up and doing that. I like this, like, oh, bro, exactly. I'm just... And he wields a hammer. Like, I don't see like a sexy dude wielding a hammer. I see like this buff burly dude who's like, I beat your head in with a hammer. Like, where... Exactly. I don't understand where... I didn't understand where the expectation was coming from there with that. And then to add on to a side note from the thing, I've also heard some controversy about the giant lady that was revealed. Because she's like a person of color. Like there's this woman that showcases who I think is supposed to be like the mother of the giants or some shit. People kind of got mad at that. Yeah, because she's black. And I was just like, okay, whatever. But the other note I did hear as well is that apparently this is the last in the franchise. In the
God of War.
Yeah, I heard it from, I believe, Game Ranks, but shout out to them. But this is the last in the God of War Norse franchise, which means hopefully we're going to we're going to a new set of gods in the next game. But because the I guess director was like, because it it takes like 5 years to create a bunch of these games, we'd have to wait like 15 years basically to complete the story if they made like a third game to this. So I'm kind of happy that they're gonna wrap up the story in the next game, because like once I saw what they did with this new God of War, I was like, I hope they do this with all of like the mythological gods. So I'm excited just to see the next realm Kratos is gonna go to and fuck up. My hope is that it's Egyptian gods next, but we never know. You know what I'm saying? But like to me, that's the other big. Like if you're talking Greek, Roman gods are pretty much the same as Greek gods. They almost feel like a direct copy to me. So I don't know why you would go back to that world, but they might. Norse is another big one, and then to me, Egyptian gods would be the next thing I think people think of. So my hope, and what they were kind of saying about the black giant showing up, was that she might be a connector piece to that world. So that's what I'm hoping they go down, because I would love to see Anubis, Ra, like how they create those interpretations, and Kratos beating the fuck out of them. Like that's all you gonna do. I think that shit is gonna be dope. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Biggest understanding of of any type of mythology all comes from Assassin's Creed. That's literally where I get all of my research from. I basically play every one, and so they went through the whole the Egyptian gods and everything, niggas with the alligator heads and all of that, and I'm like, yo, this looks dope. So if we can get a version where we actually have Kratos going out there and beating their asses or whatever, I can actually see that being the next one. And I'm just wondering, like, how many mythologies do you actually have that that have enough people or gods within it, so that Kratos can actually run across it or whatever.
Not to call it a mythos,
Asian. I mean, or at least like there's multiple different kind of Asian mythologies there too. So I mean, that
is another world that's expansive, because you got to think of the deities. So the thing is, like, I hate using the word mythology, because I do agree to some degrees that like you can qualify religion as mythology in certain ways. So I feel like you could play in those next. So it's like Egyptians, but like Jugga said, like there's the Asian deities. Like if you talk about Hindu gods, there's a ton of them, and that could be its own. Yeah, like there's Ganesh, there's Shiva, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, like God of Destruction, God of whatever. So I think that shit would be dope to go into.
Hey, they ain't put it in Assassin's Creed yet, so I don't know these people.
Bro, oh damn! And then they have like, I'm sure the Chinese culture has their own deities, which I'm not as familiar with. But obviously, if you are in anime space, you know a lot of the Japanese deities, even though you don't know them. But like Amaterasu is one. Like they talk about a bunch of different ones. So right, you got Nine-Tailed Fox coming out. So there's a lot of shit they can go with if they go Asia as well, which could be the next one, because like from a map standpoint, he could be hitting that before he hits Africa, if you think about it that way. Like Valhalla is like, now they're in Europe, if you thought about Greek or before. But I'd argue that if he was in Greece before, it would have made more sense to hit the Asian deities next. But who the fuck knows? But it could go anywhere. He moved north, and now I guess he's coming back south to one of these different areas, is my hope. So we'll see. Gotcha. Just tossing out some comments. Mike also said, far more accurate for him to be fat bearded, redhead Viking, sword swinging arms, and got a gut full of mead. It'll probably be in Egyptian mythology next, and then get some more black representation in the franchise. I mean, people have been talking about this whole Kratos is black thing a little bit more as of late too. Really? So that's kind of why I think that they might go Egypt next, if they want to play off that storyline of like, oh, technically, from what they say, from the stuff from the original games, like Kratos before all the shit happened was more of a dark-skinned dude. If you look at his daughter, I think she also seemed like she might have been mixed or black. So they could go Egyptian guys next and try to like explain some shit with that, but I don't know. But like I said, and Mike just said, no matter where he goes, it'll be wild, and that's exactly how I feel. Like no matter what it is, I'm just excited to see Kratos go into a mythological world and kill mythological gods. I just think that shit is dope. So
just want to see that nigga riding into the battlefield, riding in nine tails with a big ass.
You think he's gonna keep? Do you think he'll keep Atreus past this thing, or you think it'll be kind of done with that storyline at the end of this game?
So my thing is, I would hope, especially since the nigga's name is actually LAKEY, I would hope that he actually remains within that world, I guess you can call it. And so I would actually be interested to see him have a kid in each of these different worlds or whatever, to see how those kids, develop.
I agree.
As a new god.
I also feel like the Atreus storyline, from what I gather, I didn't finish the first God of War of the remake, but from what I gather, it seems like a coming of age story. So I feel like Ragnarok could be the like culmination of that. Like, look, dude, you're good. You don't need me anymore now. You run this shit. I'm out to kill some other motherfuckers.
Exactly.
So I'm excited to see that. But either way, yeah, I'm hyped for it. Definitely gonna get it, and I probably won't finish the first one before I get it, but I don't care.
Whoa.
I just like to kill gods. It's fun.
I like to kill gods.
It's fun. But okay, cool. What do we have next? Are we jumping to the anime segment?
Looks like we are.
What topic would you all like to jump in on that?
Well,
Anime had you shook.
all right.
All right, go ahead.
Get real.
You want to kick it off?
Sure. So, we were curious. Well, we were interested with the idea of, thinking about the anime that we've watched, where it sent shivers down your spine, or it's had you sitting there like, holy shit, that really just happened. Or, you're just freaking shocked, your eyeballs all almost about to pop out of your head or whatever. And this is stuff that goes across, all of the anime that we've seen. So we just wanted to go off and list some of the, what the fuck moments that we've seen within anime. And I'll let you guys one that y'all had.
Ooh. I'm gonna let you go first, Jug. I gotta mull over mine a little bit because you got some good ones.
I mean, I got quite a few. Well, the first one that came to mind is that I know we're all here, Goblin Slayer residents, but anyone who don't know Goblin Slayer, on F1, spoiler alert, you go into it thinking that it's like it's not an isekai, but you pretty much are looking at it, it's like a typical isekai where beginner group, you got like your main character as a priestess. She's like, I'm trying to become an adventurer. She gets a new squad. Like, okay, adventure starting is going to be great. They enter a dungeon. They're just here to kill some goblins. We're just going to be seeing the intro of like the power system of the world, how the world works, basic stuff like that. It's like, all right, here we go. Let's do it. It goes from 0 to 100 in literally a snap. And at first, you thinking like, all right, goblins are showing up. They got trapped, whatever. Maybe they're going to get saved. It's all good. Nah, dude. This whole squad gets pretty much wiped out. And at first, the violence is like, oh, okay, it's a lot, a little bit darker than I thought, but it's whatever. But then they just crossed a whole nother line, which, man, them goblins went in on a female. Like I just wasn't ready for it. I don't think anyone was ready for it. We're talking about episode 1, and it went from just straight and venturing into a goblin dungeon to y'all got to get scared of getting raped. It's like, whoa, what? I just didn't believe that I was actually watching this. And it was like, wow, this is a straight horror anime. And if y'all don't know about me, I'm not really about horror anime like that. And I was like, what the F are we really getting into? But then Buddy started showing up and it started getting a little bit lighter there. But it was just like that moment in itself was just like surreal. I was just like actually frozen. Like this is really happening. So like that hit. Like I'm not going to be able to forget that moment of me feeling that way.
And I think the thing that made it even more of a what the fuck moment is just how realistic the emotions seemed within that.
No, for real, dude.
Because I'm just
Oh,
feeling
yeah.
like, gee, this is messed up.
Oh,
Like, I don't know if I can continue watching this if the whole show
I
would be
know,
like this.
right? And like afterwards, when Goblin Slayer showed up and like started like talking about what actually happened and like thinking about how real of a moment it is, if you were an adventurer visiting goblins, it's like, fuck, this is real. You know what I mean? Like it's not that whole, oh, you go and do something that you're not prepared for and you get lucky / saved. It's like, nah, bro, if you really up in this world, this is how you would die, like more or less. And it's just like, and it just hit you even more. It's just like you didn't go into this anime, at least in my opinion, thinking that you were about to see a straight real life. What would happen if you actually went into a dungeon of goblins and you weren't ready?
Exactly. It's like being dropped into an isekai world. And
Like 100%.
You're like, ooh, snap! I'm about to power up or whatever. I'm about to level up, get to level 100, kill a main boss or whatever. You get your little wooden sword, just like they do in every
Yeah, dude.
RPG.
Yeah, dude.
Your little fake shield. You go into this dungeon, like, yeah, I'm gonna do work. I already know.
Get some XP. Let's go.
Right.
In my dad real life, but it's just gonna be some, it's just gonna be some slimes. Ain't gonna be nothing. You go into this cave and you look around the corner and you see Shorty getting raped. You like,
it just got real.
Wow.
And as soon as you saw it, you already trapped because like they set it up. The goblins had you. Like as soon as you walked in, you already GG'd.
yeah,
Right? It's just like, damn, bro. But nah, that was real.
Yeah, I will toss my two out there, and they're coming from Toriko. I'll put it in chronological order. If you haven't watched Toriko, don't watch it, read it. I'll start there. The anime definitely waters down a lot of shit.
True.
But one thing they didn't water down, well, they watered it down, but it still had a big effect, was when Toriko entered the gourmet world for the first time. That thing, like, up until that point, you just saw Toriko like growing, overcoming some significant challenges, developing some new moves. But basically, showing us that he got the hands, right? And we were pretty confident in his hands having ability. So they were like, yo, Gourmet World is this other world, man. You may not be ready for it. Niggas was warning him. Don't cross that threshold. There's some other beast. He like, nigga, I just got fork, knife, spoon. I got all these moves, bro. I know some shit. I'm going to go over there. Bad idea. His birth into the gourmet. First, he jumps off this edge into the gourmet world. Typical Toriko fashion. I'm finna have fun. The moment he jumps, a fucking beast from like God knows where sees that shit, shoots some breath at this nigga. Boom. Hits him. He's off. He's just like, oh shit, I didn't expect that. Totally off. Lands in a random forest. Goes into this random forest, these strong ass animals come out of nowhere and start fighting each other. He's in the middle of it, just getting flung around, tossed somewhere else. He like, cool, the monsters is gone, bet. Rain starts coming down. He like, oh, this is just some regular rain. No, that shit is not no regular rain. The gravity is like super heavy. His eyes start turning bloodshot red. This nigga was not ready, bro. He runs out of there like, oh, let me get out this water, into a fucking desert. Is dying in this motherfucking desert, bro. Like almost immediately. It's like he went from rain full of water to a drought in like less than a second. Like, and he's dying from it almost instantaneously, bro. Finds a cactus, tries to open up that cactus. That cactus attacks him, bro. It was letting him know that from the beast to the environments, everything is on that with you if you're not ready, bro. Then these little frog things out of nowhere come and start attacking them, and you think these are just some weak frog monsters? Yeah, no, they are giving Toriko the battle of his life, bro. If it wasn't for Naki Master Jiro coming through, and to mind you, this is why it was another what the fuck moment for me, because I was like, I've never seen Naki Master Jiro's son. So I see this nigga that looks like Jiro with black hair come on. I'm like, yo, his son is just chilling in the gourmet world? No, it was Naki Master Jiro the whole time. I said, yo, that's when I knew Toriko was on some other shit. And I just was like, okay, bro, this is like some shit that I never experienced in anime before. So that I gotta put respect on his name, hands down. Before I talk about the segment, I'll let y'all add y'all respect to it if you have some respect to add.
No, that's mad fair, bro. Like we were just talking earlier, and I was like, "Fuck, it's been so long since I've been watching Toriko." And like you just describing that reminded me why we were all so hyped back in the day for Toriko. Because Toriko was just on that real ish. Like you just had slow, like I'm not gonna say slow, but you had reasonable progression, and then just straight up into just stupid OPness, like just across the board, just everybody broken. The effing nature broken, like just everything was just effing crazy, and just kept you hyped. But
it was literally like a bouncer to the club, bro. Like it was literally like Toriko, you're not ready to get in, bro. Just in one episode.
Brandon from level 1 to level 20, and then you
right
to this next world.
Level 50.
Quick.
Oh my god.
Level 50 up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's that Final Fantasy thing for like the old school Final Fantasy players. Like there's parts in Final Fantasy where you're power level and you're going crazy, but then you go into one area that's like a special area that they're like you're pretty much not even supposed to tackle this to the end of the game. You touch that, you're just like, oh, let me just see where I'm at. And then all your party, like one monster comes up, starts boom, slashes one of your partners, niggas KO'd instantly. Hits the next one, and it's just you left, and you're running for your life. That is what Toriko experienced when he entered the gourmet world for the first time, bro. And I was just like, yo, that's amazing. But yeah, the second thing I would toss out there was the Acacia reveal in Toriko. The whole time in the Toriko series, Acacia is always spoken to and revered to as a god and like the pinnacle of goodness. Like no one ever talks bad about this nigga at all. He helped so many people. He brought so much peace to the world. And then you come to find out this nigga is a grimy villain. And at first I'm like, okay, maybe he's being controlled by this thing. They were like, no, he planned this shit from the start. It's like, yo, wow. What? That reveal, and then it was like, yo, you did that, and then he trained the 3 strongest niggas in the series, and they just had to eat that. And they couldn't beat them either. It wasn't like they could just go run up on their master. It was like, no, yeah, I fucked all 3 of your lives up on purpose. And yeah, you run a fade with me if you want.
I bet.
Like it's,
and then that nigga picked his own.
Right?
You heard me correct. That nigga tried to eat. EAT, yomp, his own kid. This is the same person that we thought was slow Gandhi.
Right.
Right.
He might, apparently, what they say about Gandhi, he might have been more Gandhi than we thought. But anyway, this nigga was freaking summoning hands the size of Earth to fucking smack people. Like, Acacia was just powerful on a different level. Not only was the reveal that this nigga was still alive, but the reveal that he was also evil was just like absolutely crazy. Like to me, Toriko was the only series that I allowed, like, well, I wouldn't say allowed, but like I didn't have as much gripe with them bringing back an old legend like I did when other series did it. Like when Naruto did it with Madara, it kind of bothered me. I was just like, can we create a new GOAT? Like, why do we have to bring back this old GOAT, like, to fight this shit? I was bothered by it. But the way Toriko did it was just beautifully done, bro. Everyone else that did it is a cheap imitation of that storytelling. That storytelling was perfect. That's all I'll say.
But still, it was a huge what the fuck moment.
100%.
Still not forget that.
I'm still shook by it to this day.
All right, so I'm going ahead and get one of mine off this list. So I'm gonna just say, because this one is just too large to go over, I can't pick out any specific scene, but I'm gonna just say the whole anime series of the Kame got killed, because literally I have never up to that point of watching that, I had never seen any anime where nobody was safe. No.
True. That's true. That's true.
Literally every time I saw one of the main people, the people that I thought were the main characters for the show, getting heads chopped off, I was like, how? I thought this was anime. Bro, I thought this was anime. What is
Hey, this ain't no shonen, my guy. Not really.
Even characters that you think, oh yeah, they safe. You know, they ain't that important.
This is the main three.
They just a regular side character. They
You
just
can still get got too.
help out a little bit or whatever. As soon as they by themselves, head on the freaking spike. I'm like, whoa,
that was a big one. I was like,
man, woman, they
that
don't
was
kill
mad sad.
babies.
That was mad
They
sad.
don't
At
care.
all.
I think they were killing babies in the beginning of the show. They didn't care. They didn't
You
care.
not lying.
Bro.
You not lying. Like it really like it unnerved you because it like set that tone like in the beginning.
Yeah.
And like what I liked about it also was like they were also like, yeah, we're trying to free the world, but like we're not the good guys either, nigga. We're fully aware that murdering niggas is wrong and we're murdering niggas. So like that's what happens, bro. But like niggas in the community to this day are still like pissed off physically, like visually, when they see a picture of that motherfucking dog that killed the chick with the scissors. Oh my god, like niggas are and I was like, yo, she really nicest chick ever, bro. Nicest chick ever. All she was doing was just riding because she had to ride. That was it. Murdered by a fucking dog, bro. Hurt my feelings.
I'm still
bro.
Hurt my
She was
feelings.
one of the real what Shield, bro. Shield. I had to look up the name, bro, but Shield was a real one. I was like, wow.
Did you not? When I saw that death, I was like, that's fake, bro. that shit was fake. She gonna be back.
Psych. But that was legitimately crazy. From day one, nobody was safe. Oof. No, Kami got killed got real. One I gotta say, which is like low-key super obvious, but I want everyone for a hot second to just be with me for a moment and really think back to the very first time you saw Show Tucker turn his daughter with his dog. The first time you saw that, bro, that hit. Like that. I mean, it was supposed to be like such a chill, low-key, like almost I mean, like for lack of a better phrase, rom-com-esque, like mindset, like with the girl, they're just studying. She's like, the friendly like character like in the series at that time. And then like, a few scenes later, you just like, they come back and then you just see that. And then like to actually like hear it talk and like in the tone of voice, it's just like, wow, Buddy really did just do that to his only daughter. And then figuring out that like she can't like come back, like it's just like that's it, and like they can't even come back. And then like later her getting bodied, it was like, fuck, bro.
Probably, and I think it's probably more of a shock because he seemed like a really good guy,
right?
A hella facade. I'm just trying to make sure my kid and my dog can eat. So I'm working. I'm grinding away.
Psych, bro.
So for me, I actually didn't see that scene while watching the series. I actually knew of it beforehand. I think just through social media because I watched Full Metal Alchemist way too late or whatever. So I think just randomly watching different like anime videos on Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that, I happened to have seen that scene and saw people talking about it already. So it didn't hit me unexpectedly, like I'm pretty sure it did for you guys.
Yeah. No, I feel you. It was still grimy what that nigga did. Period.
Yeah, man. That was cold blood, bro.
Yeah.
Like, god damn. Like, how can you do that to a daughter? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, I still feel kind of way about that. It's like, god damn, bro.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. Let me think. You guys want to toss anything else? Go ahead.
I got another one. Promise Neverland. 1. That's
Oh.
Mm.
Oh. When you first okay.
I mean, it's what set the stage to like this is gonna be something different for sure. This is not your typical anime. That was what I got from that first episode.
Bro.
Speaking of that,
hold on, let me just say this real quick. it was like watching Barney for like 5 episodes, right?
Right?
And then episode 6 hits, and then Barney does some crazy shit to one of the
Right.
kids on the show.
Starts
That's what it
Right.
fucking
felt like.
jawing children and shit. Like, what? What's up, Barney? What's going on?
And he just bites. Barney is singing or whatever, and then he just bites one of the kids' heads off.
Yeah, like, yo.
That's what it felt like.
Right.
That would F me up.
No, I feel you on that
100%.
one.
100%.
I'm gonna toss out now that I was thinking about it, and it is very recent, but definitely a moment that turned that time I got reincarnated as a slime from like a casual watch to a like what the fuck is going on. The murder of Fall moved, bro. That whole army getting destroyed to me was like absolutely shocking because to me up until that point Rimuru as a slime is seen as pretty much just like a peacemaker. Like, I can fight if I have to. Action is involved. Niggas die sometimes, but it's not. I try my best to avoid that if possible, right? I want people to be my friends. Usually everyone gets flipped to kind of join the team in some way.
Exactly.
Not Fall move, bro. They fucked up. First of all, the first like wow moment was seeing that they murdered a bunch of people. That first part was like, wow, Rimaru's community got touched.
Yeah.
And those people died. And honestly, under our impression, the death was supposed to be permanent. So we saw Gobuta's best friend laid out, and we saw Shuna, who to me is one of my favorite characters just off the cooking jokes alone.
Oh, shit.
Dead, bro. And I was just like, huh? So we got to see that rage. And then to see what his response was to that rage, and then to see that dumb niggas was not coming back, like there was no like flip. Because sometimes it's a strategy. You think this shit's going one way, and he's like, no, I'm still a good guy at the end. No, those niggas are permanently done. The fact that, and that's more evidence by the, like I started watching part 2 of season 2 now, so I just saw in the last episode how easily, how barely of an inconvenience it was to cover up the murder of Falmu, which I thought was absolutely insane. Like, you think it was like, yeah, it's not a big deal to cover up that you killed like 50,000 soldiers, bro. You just gotta say this, and this. Like, oh, we fought them, they lost. Like, no, nigga, he single-handedly murdered 50,000 people. Like, and they were like, yeah, people start talking shit about it. We could just, say whatever. Nobody was there. You killed everybody that was there, so nobody can speak. I say, yo, the way they're covering this up, they're like putting the little happy music behind, but it's sick what they're doing. Like, it's actually sick. But to me, that whole play out there was just levels of what the fuck. From his community getting killed to him responding to how they covered it up at the end. All 3 of those moments were like, huh? What? And then just like, yo, y'all niggas are I'm not fucking with Rimaru's group at all, bro. I'm joining and just keeping my mouth. They just covered that shit up like it was nothing. And like when he told it to like his other allies who were not involved in the situation at all, they just like were like, oh. I was like, huh?
We do this on a daily. It's all good.
Yeah, like what? But all right.
I mean, just to touch on that, like homie cleared him out clean, bro. Like I still like now that you mention it, it shook me in like in a cool, that was dope as fuck, but also holy crap moment, because it was just so like it wasn't like the scene itself of him body. You can't really understand the level of rage simply because of how clean it effing was. Right. I mean, it was in a sense, it was all one shot headshots. Thousands in like a minute. It was like holy crap, bro.
They was looking at little water balls, and that little water ball just that was the last thing all those people saw. Little water ball, phew, right through the head.
Nuts. And like 50,000 people around like the same. I mean, like he knocked them out. He did all of that within like what, like a couple minutes, right?
Yeah.
It was like not a long time in the slightest
at all,
and it was just like. Bro,
and
like we've seen people like body armies, see all like the actual intricacies that took place. No, just clean. It was just straight. Oh, let me do that.
And the artistry of it all was to do it on the closing of the episode. They did it on the closing while the exit music was playing. So it was like the series is over. You can skip this shit if you want. Boom, bro. Murdered all those niggas, bro. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's nuts. Like Rimuru game way too OP. Side note, but we have to do. I feel like we got to do an Overlord versus that reincarnated as a slime like battle. Low
oh yeah, part 2 for sure.
Because now it's like holy shit. Like now we know what them kids were talking about as far as like the manga readers go.
Oh yeah.
So it's like now I hear you.
Yeah, this nigga got gods on his side and shit, bro.
Right.
Anyways, anything else you want to call out for the Shook moments before we jump to the other topics?
No, we good.
All right. Let's see where we're at on time. Let's only do one more of these and then jump to anime. So we could either do favorite moments in My Hero or Fire Users in Fire Force. Which one would you guys rather do?
Flip a coin.
All right. I don't have a flip a coin app anymore. I think I removed it.
All right.
Yeah, I don't got it no more. Somebody want to flip a real coin? Heads for Fire Users and Fire Force. Tails for the other.
I mean, I got no coin. I'll just flip my case on the floor. Oh, you got a coin?
Yeah, I found one.
Go ahead.
Damn. You better keep $100,000 in the future.
I got Tails.
You got Tails? What was Tails again?
Tails is our favorite moments in My Hero.
All right, bet.
All right. So, for me, I'm going to go ahead and put mine out real quick. Lemillion, bro. I think the whole Lemillion story arc from beginning to end is some of the best writing I've not only seen in My Hero Academia, but in shonen anime in general. The buildup of introducing Lemillion as one of the top characters, but not just leaving it at that, showing us that like he honestly worked his ass off to get there. Then going from that to, exploring Deku, he should have originally had the power, like that whole little interaction, all the way up to saving Eri. I think saving Eri was like the key moment because seeing him willing to sacrifice his power that he worked so hard to improve to that level, picking that heroism over like his hard work, I think was just amazing. And I think the author did a great job of like making sure we were subtly paying attention to that development all the way until he lost the power. Him getting it back, spoiler alert, if he gets it back, quote unquote, but spoiler alert, he gets it back at the end. When he gets it, that part didn't hit as amazingly to me, but it was still a good completion to that roundabout. And to me, the writing leading up to him losing it was immaculate, bro. I audibly was like, no, hurt when this nigga lost his power. I audibly felt sad for this nigga. Like, I really felt that. So that's mine. Hands down.
I was about to say like Loki and GG took mine, but I guess the one thing to highlight within that. Oh, word? Okay, bet. Hilarious. But I guess like the one thing to add on would just be to recall the famous, the most boss, the most low-key, intricate move that I think we may have low-key seen in the series to date, but the kick. That kick of what's-his-face holding on to Eri that Lemillion did to hit him. Again, I mean, we touched it on a video as far as like, the best like fight in the series so far, but bro, break down that kick, really think about it as far as to what his ability is and what he has to do to use it. That kick was amazing. Okay. Right. Yeah. Period. The force, the mental thought processing that had to go with how quick that truly did occur, and then the actual consideration of still the full situation at that time. Just that kick alone was monstrously beautiful once you break down what actually happened. Like, that was amazing.
I feel like your brain has to process at the speed of like Sonic.
Like stupid. It's like for real. Like,
in order to be that
so fast.
Precise.
Exactly. We're talking about like inches away. Like Eri was here, kicked through her head to jaw me with a foot. Like, bro, what? Like, come on.
At full speed.
At full speed and inches like that? Like, that's like milliseconds. I mean, like, I don't even know the proper like time frame there. And you like just turn it on and off like that. Like, oh, Dirty, straight dirty.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fucking boss. But yeah,
Sorry.
So I'm gonna just say I think this one was actually my favorite arc overall so far because of favorite moments within it. So yeah, my number one moment that had Luminion on the screen. But after that, just so we can make sure we ain't all speaking on the exact same thing, I think I'm gonna go with one of two moments. So I'm in between the badassness of Overhaul when we first got an introduction
true.
of him.
you right.
That nigga just came up on the by himself on dirt,
Straight.
killed niggas right in front of.
Straight Yakuza.
You want to run up,
just straight
run
Yakuza.
up if you want to, and then he just went out and did his business. So that badass moment right there, I was like, yeah, that nigga hard. I can't wait to see what he got. And then my other option was just Red Riot being a real nigga when he went against the rapper.
Okay.
We know that player 5 still doesn't want to put respect on this man's name. But
I feel
as a teenager, I definitely would have had nowhere near enough hearts to do what the hell he did.
Right.
So
that goes in my top 5 for sure.
That's fair.
That definitely goes in my top 5.
True. I mean, now you mentioned it, like the arc was mad decent. Got to give big ups to Fat Gum, where at least I first started really giving homie respect because Fat Gum a real one. And then again to piggyback off what Gramps just said regarding Overhaul, just in general. I mean, homie was just in there to make guap, make bank, make moves. Like everything was just boom, boom, boom. I do this because boom, boom, boom. I want to put you on because I want to do boom, boom, boom. Oh, you ain't about that life. Bet deuces. Boom, boom, boom. It was just everything was just let's make this happen. If you're not about it, then deuces. And I mean, he was just a villain businessman. And in a sense, it's at least from my perspective, I just respect that he his mission was clear. Try to get money. Pretty much money influence was all he really needed / wanted. And he was going about it, at least in my opinion, as far as still villain is still evil, but a reasonable way. Then the only mistake that he really did was trying to get involved with the League of Villains in the first place. That's pretty much the only bad thing that he's really done in the whole series. So
anybody that tries to do any work with them is automatically going to take L's.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Look at Redestro.
Ooh, big facts. Big facts, bro. Redestro could have just chilled too. He called him out, and he's like, "Bro, you didn't even need to do that." Right. But anyways, that's a whole other topic. Oh man.
All right. Anything else on favorite moments?
No.
If not, let's jump to the manga segment. So before we go into talking about the chapters, just putting some respect on some new manga or the other manga that we read but don't talk a whole bunch about. One thing I wanted to call out was Candy Flurry. I think it is over. It's been deaded. I was already iffy about the series as a whole. And they really went left with that ending of a lollipop user somehow being able to make a giant candy robot. But
they went mecha with it.
It was the end, so do whatever the fuck you want. So for those people who were interested in the series, it's over. You got what you got. For those who weren't, it's over. So you got what you got. That's all I want to put out there for that. And then the other one I'll talk about is Hunter's Guild Red Hood. It's still staying solid. It's a little weird for me with some of the backstories, but it's really just me getting comfortable with that time and location setting because it's this old English type of vibe to it. So it's just a little weird for me just in the anime manga setting, but they're going hard with the strats and the plans. So I'm putting big respect on them. I think they could catch a wave if enough people get on it, and I'm praying it doesn't get canceled. Praying they at least allow it to explore where it's trying to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I'm caught up, and it's still mad decent considering. Yeah. I mean, I have no qualms with it so far. I like the progression, like how it's going. As far as the backstories go, I mean, they're even expanding the world, even like low key based on where they are, as far as like now dropping in giants. Like you're pretty much touching on multiple aspects of Grimm's fairy tales for real. And it's just like snap. They do this right. This could be a pretty decent, long-standing series. Right. So, I mean, long story short, so far, so good. And then, RIP to Candy Flurry, lols. So, it's like, oh, well.
Also, and shout out to Dr. Stone for keeping it strong. We finally got there to, spoiler alert, we're back at Japan. So, niggas is doing what they doing out there. It's cool to see the aged up pets. But, like I said, we're still building to something bigger, so not a lot has been happening in these past few chapters, just a lot of exploration mostly. So I don't have much to call out, but it's still going strong in my opinion. So shout out to Senku and the guys for that.
And it seems like it might end, assuming that
you think so?
With the whole series, you mean?
Is the end, but if not, then I have no idea where the hell they're about to go after that.
Yeah, but I feel like that counter plan with Chrome and the other chick, like this rocket back idea, is what is going to continue the story, if that makes sense. Because to me, it sounds like, we gonna land there and then get stuck, and then shit happens from there. But I feel like we're probably gonna find out who dude on the moon is, recruit that nigga, and then kind of like come back and figure out a new problem to solve. That's my thought. I could be way off, but that's just my thought for now.
Like, bro.
I'm open to being wrong on that, because it's hard to really tell with Dr. Stone anyways. So I'm totally open to being wrong on that shit. But it's just what I'm thinking based on what happened, because it just never seems like whoever's a threat is really a threat for them. Even this evil scientist guy, now they've kind of converted him. My thought is that probably by the time this whole rocket thing wraps up, he'll actually not be a dick anymore and just be like, yeah, I get it. I'm with the crew now or whatever. So if that happens, my thought is that Y-Man is either not a real person or a real person that's going to eventually be recruited in some way. So
let's not forget that they did say that never mind, spoilers. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you saw my headphones fell out. Say it again.
No, I canceled what I was about to say anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you canceled it because you saw my headphones fall out.
Oh, Lord.
Got you.
It'll be perfect timing.
Oh, all right. So yeah, that's it for new stuff on me. Anybody else want to put some respect on some new things, shows, animes, mangas? If not, we can talk about these recent chapters.
No, I mean, unless you wanted to, I see you put Magic and Muscles, but I just wanted to put I'll highlight it every time we talk about manga in general, because it's just every chapter seems to be again steady, decent, and it just keeps on going and keeps on going. Yeah. So I still gotta recommend it every time to whoever hasn't heard me say it before. But Magic and Muscles still going good.
I will say at this point with the number of chapters that are out, I will say this. And I think it's fair to say at this point, in my opinion only, it is keeping me more interested than One Punch Man is in a similar storyline. Because I feel like One Punch Man, I think the gap between Saitama and the people they fight is so crazy big. You're pretty much just reading it, waiting for Saitama to show up and one punch the thing. And you somehow get a little seasoning of the side characters. But Magic and Muscles, even though he is that OP physically, they still give you this teaser that these fights are still a struggle for him in some way.
Right. And
they spend enough time developing the side characters. To me, I feel like it is more of a, I don't know if mature is the right word, but I'll use mature, mature storytelling of that Saitama, this guy is just a goat for no reason type of storyline. I think MASH does a better job of just not making it strictly comedic, where it's just oh, hey, just for laughs, and it gets dry. So far, MASH I found very few moments that I would qualify as dry in MASH, where One Punch Man, it seems like every arc building up to Saitama punching the shit out of someone is more or less dry, besides this one, because we finally get to see the S-classes go all out. But in all the other scenarios, it was more or less I'm just when is Saitama gonna punch the fuck out of this dude? Because you guys are playing around.
No,
So
that's true. I mean, like, because in Magic, I mean, pretty much as you said, in Magic and Muscles, where like homie's physical, attributes still end up beating the guy. It's still a fight, more or
right,
less. It's not a complete blowout. It's still a fight, and even more so where I mean, I believe we've already seen a couple times where he needed help to do at least what he needed to do. In the sense where One Punch Man literally never does need help. He's just broken. He's gonna win very easily, and that's just it. That's just all. Magic now, it's like the main character is truly now a part of the plot and the story compared to just One Punch Man, who sits above everything.
right.
So it's just refreshing. Comedy's always been at least decent to me, as far as like just sometimes like the crazy feats and the reactions he gets because of his crazy feats. And then plus we're still seeing, I mean, low key, we're seeing some pretty interesting magic abilities just for a series alone, just to focus on that. The magic, like I guess power structure you could say of the series is low key pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's more stuff going about the show other than just Mash. So I mean, it's just mad decent, and it's still running good so far. I hope it continues.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so on to the popular manga. Just starting off with Black Clover. This should be really, really quick. This chapter wasn't much besides, Longris showing up and helping out, which was a little shocker for me. I didn't expect him to be the one, but it made sense from that standpoint. I don't think it's going to mean much. I'm excited for, whatever this new thing can do. I like his look and feel right now. So yeah, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go, but I don't have much other than like cool that Longer show up. It was a little bit hard to follow what exactly was going on when he showed up and what he
Same.
did with his brother, but I think they're really just gonna buy time for like whoever the real powerhouse is that's gonna come and kind of help, finish it off.
Agreed. Agreed.
So
So
yep.
yeah, we'll see how that develops. But to me, it was like, oh, okay, this is nice, but Longris didn't sound like he came up there with any new abilities, any new powers, anything that he would truly contribute. Minus what we saw in the fight. I mean, not Longris, Finral.
Yeah.
Minus in the fight that he was going up against Longris, and I mean, it might be cool to see like a couple scenes of them like tag teaming, but pretty sure we all know this ain't going to end with both of them dropping the new
Right.
OPs.
I'm like,
So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, if anything, it's almost like the degree just above filler. I mean, well, actually, that's maybe a little disrespectful, but I feel like you at least get what I'm trying to say.
I feel yeah, no, I feel straight. I think that's fair. That's a fair statement.
So,
All right. So then, yeah. So My Hero, the latest chapter. It looks like we're in a
filler.
beach. Yeah, actual filler in a beach arc. I'm just disappointed that they're playing with us this way because I'm like, this is still like they say they got a month left, so it sounds like this next month is going to be like the real training arc to get the heroes like the students prepared for like this actual battle with the complete Shigaraki. That's the vibe I'm getting, but I'm still disappointed because I'm just really bothered by the author's inconsistency in expressing to us how much danger the world Japan is in right now. Because I feel like for them to be able to take this break, it doesn't seem like the world is in as much danger as they're trying to make it seem. But at the end, when they had the fight with Shigaraki, it sounded like Japan went into a damn near a demilitarized zone, like it was a police state. So I'm really confused on that, and that's like kind of like bothering me with the whole thing. And then this whole like, oh, Deku's back, so like let's have a culture festival bullshit. I was just kind of like, all right, so you guys are just wasting my time. Like, we don't need all this. We don't need it, in my personal opinion. I don't know why we need it. I don't know if he's lost and he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do with the next arc. But it's pretty dry to me. Like, we got the feels, I'm cool with that. But like to end with the feels and be like, yeah, we're just still gonna waste your time some more. I'm just like, come on, bro. Next.
Yeah. Exactly. Like again, they could have. I mean, even like the chapter before this regarding. Oh God, if I want to even go into Stain right now, but the actual chapter with Stain. I mean, that whole chapter could have been a part of the last chapter, and that last chapter could have just been the end of it. This chapter could have been the start of either like, I don't know, like him literally taking like, you know, that actual relief with the squad, resting, and then at least actual starting the training with the squad. That to me at least would have been more beneficial, just to still see that the progress is still going. Right now it's like we got to halt. We got to be like, all right, we got to rest. Now we got to relax and then we'll train. It's just like that relaxed part. Outside is literal chaos. I don't know if y'all want to really relax quite yet. So it's I don't know. It's just the timing doesn't seem right, nor does it really seem super realistic in that respect. So
And did like Stain's letter even really help that much? That was like another thing that I couldn't really gather too much from the stuff at the end.
I don't think they revealed completely the benefits yet of that letter.
Okay.
I would have to check the chapter again, but I think it was more just like Stain got us info that was. They did say what it was though, right? It was like the Tartarus logs.
Yeah, security records from Tartarus.
No,
Security record.
it was a love letter that also included.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, that was the second part of it. There was a love letter to All Might, which
Dear
was
All
like, what the
Might,
fuck?
you are my greatest hero.
Right?
I love it.
And that was the other thing that kind of bothered me at the end. It was like, who would think a hero killer would end up a hero ally? I'm like, you guys clearly didn't listen to what he was saying. Like, I totally get it. He murdered some heroes. But if you listen to what he was saying, he thought he was a hero. So it's not like it's surprised that he helped you guys. It's like, yeah, he did it in his weird ass Stain way. But yeah, that was kind of his goal at the end of the fucking day. Like, I was really like taken aback by like Endeavor's statement. Like, I'm just like, you guys just want to make Endeavor and Hawk seem important. We don't care, like, or at least I don't care. I could go 20 chapters not knowing what the fuck they were doing, and you would never hear me ask for, I wonder what Hawks and Endeavor. I would never say that. I'm cool on them. Like, we've got more than enough. I am 100% okay on not seeing them ever again show up in the fucking series. I'm gonna be real.
Damn.
I'm over it. They're so disappointing to me.
No, I mean,
At
considering.
least seeing Hawks do some shit.
I mean,
No, bro, I've seen it already. He flies and he uses some fake
exactly.
feather katanas.
It's like I get it. I mean, like simply because of like the purpose of sharing screen time for the new characters that they hinted or that they're going to be mentioning in the series. It's like, yeah, let's get them into it because I'm still hungry for the non-Japan related heroes. I mean, like when are they going to pop up? I've been wanting to see them for now a minute since they hinted towards it. And like considering we've pretty much seen Endeavor and Hawks at their tops, we don't at least need to see them at all right now, or at least for a while, to be completely honest, unless their only point in the plot is to introduce the new cast, which is fine. So yeah, it's more just like they just pop them in there to pop them in there, more or less. And it's just like, okay, this really is filler. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it.
I mean, it's basically, it's one of those weeks, except, instead of receiving no chapter, you receive a wasted chapter.
Yeah.
It was
100% skip.
I mean, and 100. I mean, what's even more sad?
Right.
I was just gonna say, what's even more sad is that based on what they're hinting towards, we've got at least 1 or 2 more chapters to look forward to of this. So it's like, really, bro? It's like it was a letdown, and then it was like get ready to be let down some more. So it's like that's cool. That's
man.
cool.
The mangaka's on vacation. He's on a smooth little sabbatical, so he, let his little kids take over for the next couple of take their breaks here. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Okay. All right. So anything else on My Hero? Jump to One Piece or in our One Piece session. Okay. So for One Piece, I think we're probably just gonna have the One Piece summary as this discussion, really, which is I'll let you open it up actually, Gramps, because you are the one who suggested it. So.
All right, y'all know Yamato, right?
Yes, sir.
For starters, Yamato, that woman. with no changes to her at all. That was revealed in the SBS by Oda.
Okay.
So that should start that off. So there's no confusion.
Oh, good to know. Did they refer to Yamato as a he at some point?
Because she refers to herself as a he.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's pretty much how it is.
As Odin.
Oh, so that's why she refers to herself as he.
So here's the thing though. She's never called herself a he. She's only.
Oh, I thought she has.
Odin.
Oh, she just said I'm Odin.
Oh, okay.
Odin. She says I am Odin. But
Got it. Okay.
And so she could be thinking I'm a woman.
That's Odin.
I'm the woman version of Odin.
Okay.
I got you.
No, I don't know why, but I actually thought I saw a he. But okay, I'm probably wrong.
No,
that's fine.
So Kaido has called son, and there are people calling her a he, but she herself has never said I am a man, more specifically.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's. I mean, pretty sure the communities still going to have opinions on the matter. That's not the main topic of this.
No, 100%. I mean, I think they've already.
And the wiki calls her the daughter of Kaido, so despite her gender, she's referred to Kaido's crew as his son. So it's just Kaido being a goofy then. So that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like Kaido's the toxic one here, but we all knew that already. So
that's good.
But outside of that, is Yamato stronger than all of the members of the and should the Straw Hat crew on the rest of their journey?
all right, so I'm gonna start with the first one, or sorry, the second one, which is the should she join the Straw Hat crew. This shit gets bring up every time there's a female introduced in one of these large arcs. A nigga throws this shit out, bro, and it's fucking annoying to me, bro. Alabasta, baby, is she gonna fucking join the crew? No. Fucking Don Flamingo's arc, the Ruby or whatever her name was, the night chick with the pink hair, is she gonna join the crew? No, she's not joining the crew, bro. Yamato is not joining the crew. It's not gonna happen. We got the nigga that was gonna join. It's Jinbei,
bro. Don't forget about Carrot. Don't forget about Carrot.
Right. Oh yeah, you're right. Carrot and I guess you could say that's Whole Cake. You could say that's Whole Cake. Whole Cake was Carrot. Oh, she gonna join? No, they're not joining, bro. They're affiliate members. Sure, you can call them affiliate members when the war happens. And you know how Whitebeard had those like random niggas like, yo, I fuck with you. That dude that started with an S, his name was Swallow or something. He looked ugly as fuck. I don't know what the fuck his name was.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but he was ugly as fuck, and he pulled. He was like, "Yeah, I fuck with Whitebeard." Like that will be Carrot, Vivi, all them. Like at the end of the war, Vivi's calling in some niggas. You might see the Bird nigga that we forgot about, the Bull nigga we forgot about, pop up like, "Yo, hey, what's up? I'm here." They're not joining the crew, so that's my summary on that last question. Say that with my whole heart. If Oda proves me wrong on this one. He does, whatever. I'll drop the series. I don't fucking know. But I guarantee you my whole heart, she's not fucking joining the crew in that way. She's not hopping on a boat and joining the motherfucking crew. No. Now to the stronger part, maybe before this series it could be argued, but I feel like post this series, I think Yamato is gonna fall somewhere around Jinbei's level, wherever people think that is. But I don't think that she's going to be. So here's my issue with the thing with Yamato. The only person I feel like that is not holding back on Yamato is Kaido. I feel like everyone else sees Yamato as like, this is Kaido's son who's a little bit crazy. So whenever she run around, like they'd be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But they still have that like, you're Kaido's child respect. You feel me? So they're still holding back. So in my opinion, Kaido's the only nigga that's beating his kid with no holds barred. You feel me? So that fight is where I still feel like, okay, he may not be holding back. The other question I have that's bigger is just I don't understand enough about ogres as a race to give you like a base strength. Because I feel like fishmen, for example, like if you're a fisherman pirate, there's a certain level of base strength you just get because you're a fucking fisherman. Like, you're under fucking water, you have a certain level of strength, and then if you learn fisherman karate, you have that as an added factor, which just makes you base level stronger than the fodder. Same thing with the giants. The other thing with the ogres that I don't understand is if the bat thing is a Kaido thing or an ogre thing. It sounds like it's potentially an ogre thing, which, you know, just changes the game a little bit there. But like I said, I still think power-wise, probably would edge out a win against Jinbei, maybe. But I'm thinking she's somewhere Jinbei level. So Jinbei to me is going to be under the Monster Trio still or in that party after this arc. Right now, Jinbei is probably at their level or above, depending on who you bring up in the Monster Trio. But after, I see Sanji's going to catch a dub against Queen, and Zoro's going to catch a dub against King, and Luffy's going to catch a dub against Kaido. So we're going to get 3 new moves from them that I think is going to make the statement clear that they're at a different level. That's just how I feel about it. Right now, Yamato is probably somewhere in. They're all somewhere in the same ballpark. Afterwards, I think the lines are going to be drawn pretty distinctly, and I don't think, for sure, right now, I don't think Yamato's stronger than Luffy. I'll put that out there, and I will argue Zoro's probably edging the dub out against her. I don't fuck with Sanji, so that's why I think he'd lose. I'll just put that out there. That's where I stand.
I mean, low key, I think I got a ditto just about. I think I got a ditto just about everything MGG just spit out, though. To be real, like right now, like the biggest talk is obviously because Yamato is holding her own against Kaido 1v1, right? So at this like little point in moment, like if we literally said, all right, let's rate, you know, the Straw Hat crew, throw in Yamato, based on what MGG just said, yeah, like I can see Homegirl being like just under Luffy, probably beating Zoro right now, if I'm being real and being honest, at least based on my own opinion. But as soon as homie beats out King, it's going to be like, I think that line needs to be drawn where Yamato is like under Luffy, who's about to beat Kaido, and then straight up Zoro because he's got to be the second in command. But as far as like Homegirl remaining in that realm of like, you know, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and then Jinbei, like, yeah, I think she falls there. But I don't think she's stronger than the whole crew. And more support to that is like low-key kind of like subconscious wise, but yeah, I mean, Luffy isn't going to get a new member who's stronger than himself. Period. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like on that lines, by people even thinking that Yamato's going to join the crew, even if Yamato joins the crew, then the series itself would be admitting that Yamato is at the bare minimum weaker than Luffy. Just to kind of put that in perspective a little bit. As far as her joining the crew, I completely agree with MGG as far as his points. It ain't happening. What's going to likely happen is that Momonosuke is going to be Shogun and Yamato be like pretty much the right hand. Because that would at least make sense as far as supporting the whole, I mean, not exactly like guilt trip that she would feel. I mean, I forgot like her emotional feelings towards that matter, but it'd pretty much be like her recompense because of being the daughter of Kaido, who caused the downfall of the nation that she fell in love with the samurai, etc. This would be her pretty much giving back in a sense. Plus, it'll just feel right because she would feel like, you know, a samurai in that sense too. Right. So I think Homegirl's gonna stay back. And then, like MGG said, whenever Luffy needs backup, oh, you better best believe the whole country of Wano is going to show up, just like the whole country of Dressrosa is going to show up. So, but she ain't joining. I just don't see
Niggas got to cut that theory the fuck out, bro. I don't know why it comes out every time, but it just let it go. Let it go. Not saying we don't need more women in the crew, but it just never seems to happen. I think we got the two. There might be one more we don't know about yet, but I think we got. We're getting close to the. Are we at the number? What was his ideal number again?
I think he said like 10.
Oh, I think they're at 10, aren't they? Wait, what Jinbei? What is that?
Jinbei was supposed to be the 10th.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, if you think about it, like if Yamato joins now, because like I was mentioning before, but in my opinion, Jinbei is like just recently.
No, wait, sorry. Before you finish, I gotta call this bullshit out. So, anyways, I'm looking at the One Piece wiki for the Straw Hat Pirates, bro. Vivi is on there listed as a pirate, bro. Vivi is listed as one of the pirates.
Word.
Yeah, niggas have been saying that a lot. That she's crew.
No.
Yeah. Because I think
Yo.
Loki said that you're part of our crew, but we're gonna come back for you after a long ass
Yeah.
3 years.
Well, hopefully. Well, I mean, I can understand that move from a like a political standpoint of like if Luffy's Clue is supposed to kind of be representative of the world as a whole, which I feel like they're trying to go with a little bit. I see why Vivi's there because I feel like she represents the royal aspect. You get me? Sanji, you could argue to a little bit does too, but I think Vivi's truly like she has a say in the court. She shows up to the, you know what I'm saying? Like that influence is like a valuable asset to the crew. And Jinbei's there, like I mean, obviously because he fucks with Luffy, but I think that Fishman thing was like also another theme of the story, which is why he has a representative of their clan there. I don't. The ogre thing is relatively new, and my guess is like, is there more ogres than just Kaido and Yamato? Because we've never heard of it outside of them too. You get me? Like, or do they live like similar to the Skypiea niggas, where it's like a mythos around them? They have a world, but it's not easily tied to the current world that we're in. Like maybe it's underground somewhere, or it's just like off in a place where it's really hard to get to. So there's just a mythos of this ogre group, but there you don't see many of them like the way you don't see many Skypeans because niggas don't think that really exists, even though it does. You know.
I'm mad that you made it sound like Jinbei is the diversity hire.
He sure is. They're all diversity hires though. Franklin's the cyborg nigga. You gotta have somebody representing the robots. You feel me? Usopp is I don't know who he represents. The poor niggas, the regular niggas. I don't know. I feel like Zoro samurai swordsmanship shit, right? Like that's his investment. Nami, who knows? Rich bitch, you just need it. Nico, we already know why she's there. She's there for the historical underbacking of everything, right? Like she kind of understands that story a little bit, and she's gonna help us understand the bigger legends behind everything. That's why she's there. Chopper would be the one I would have argued would have represented the mink race, but he's not really a mink, so that's the unfortunate part.
He's an animal, so he's
Yeah.
a diversity hire in that sense. He's
Right,
representing
and you
an
gotta
animal.
have a dead nigga on there. Who's gonna represent the ghost? A dead nigga.
I'm done. I'm
Rick
done.
is dead, bro. You gotta have somebody represent the ghost.
Put that nigga broke on the dollar bill, dead presidents.
Hey, bro, you gotta have a representative of the ghost because you never know what the spirits is telling you. You
Damn.
never know what the spirits is telling you.
So
Yeah, I'm done.
You saying that niggas get
Making sure that they be careful about dead niggas now, huh?
100%. Every time we go somewhere, we get a flashback about some dead niggas doing some shit. So clearly, there's a history there, bro.
Wow. All right. Well,
Soul magic.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, look out for the dead nigga community. They gonna be on Facebook, making sure
I'm
people ain't
telling you.
talking shit about that, folks.
Real facts, bro. Don't sleep.
Make sure y'all watch what y'all say.
They have a voice too.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and before we go too far into the whole Yamato thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
I
my
felt,
bad.
I felt that yes, in the beginning of this arc, she was definitely stronger than Luffy because she was able. Luffy got one shot by Thunder Boggling. She's able to take that shit.
You're right.
That's
Put
fair.
like some type of shield over her body or whatever. That and actually fight with them, and she was able to use the conqueror in a fight. So she definitely would have worked Luffy all the same. The point where Luffy actually, I mean, I would say even when he first met her, she was still slightly stronger than him because she had those extra abilities over him, even though he had already, and was able to do the Ryu Haki or whatever. But as soon as Luffy, I would, before Luffy got dropped over the edge, I would say he was probably
Even?
exactly at Yamato's level. Now that he got through off the cliff, ate a bunch, probably eternal level up or whatever, and now he's coming back into the fight. I think he's just a little bit above her. And as he continues to fight Kaido or whatever, and it's going to be continue to be a struggle, he's going to continue to grow more and more. Where now he's going to have a very good, obvious gap between him and Yamato.
Yeah. The only thing I would toss. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if she's splitting skies like Luffy is. So if she ain't splitting skies when she clashes with Kaido, that's another sign of it. But
right. I think the only thing that's hard for me to wrap my head around with that fight, where you kind of said they got even. Like, I agree with most of your points there. I think the only thing that I find it hard where I feel like Luffy might be able to, even the playing field or even catch a dub, apparently, it's just the versatility of moves. Because I'm like, you still got Gear 4th, and even though he didn't master Ryu, we've seen that he can, finesse that to work in various situations. And while it is a feat that she was able to withstand the Thunder Bagu or whatever, I do feel like she's had practice. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like she's seen it more than Luffy, who literally just ran up on it the first time, and then the second time it didn't necessarily work the same way. You get what I'm saying? He was able to dodge it. So I give her some gift. I get what you're saying there, but I also don't necessarily weight it as heavily because I feel like you did grow up around this nigga. He taught you to move. I'm sure you were able to figure out a level of defense to it that Luffy just wasn't because it was the first time he fucking saw that move. You get me? But I still mostly agree with what you said. That was just the only thing that makes me take pause because I felt like if they were to fight each other, it's like her moveset versus his moveset. He got a lot of moves in the pocket that I'm like, I still think she would struggle. She might be able to edge out the win for sure, but I don't think it would be easy. If that and I'm not saying you were saying it was easy. I'm just thinking in my head.
Now, as far as her being stronger than Zoro and Sanji, I'm right there with stronger than Zoro and Sanji. I'm struggling trying to imagine how they'll become more powerful than her by simply fighting commanders, though. That's my issue. Yeah, I can expect that they're going to get stronger by fighting commanders. But do we know if those commanders would be able to hang with Kaido?
But do you know if those commanders would hang with Yamato? So you feel like Yamato would beat King and Queen right now?
Yeah, I do.
1v1. I don't have a counter argument. I don't see it that way, but I don't think I have I don't have the evidence to argue it, so I can't refute your claim. But I don't see it that way. I guess is what I'll say. I feel like they would, if she won, it's because they were going easy on her because she's Kaido's child. That's my thought.
None of them actually fought against her per se.
Right, because she's Kaido's child.
My thing is, I just don't think that they would have been able to hang like she could with Kaido. I'm basing it all on her fight against Kaido, literally.
Well, that's all we really got.
Kaido has such a huge gap. If you look at all of between all of the Yonko and their next in line and Katakuri, huge gap between them. Kaido and King, I would expect that there's a huge gap between them. And with me seeing how much Yamato is able to, at the very least, hang a bit and go blow for blow, kind of matching that Conqueror's holding coding on their attacks or whatever. I'm like, she must be. She has to be a little bit, at the very least, a little bit over that first in command.
Here's my hesitation with what you're saying, and I don't want to ride too much on this point because it doesn't have that much merit to it. But I keep going back to the emotional relationship Yamato has with all these people, and while I do feel like Kaido isn't necessarily holding back, I do feel like the interactions between Yamato versus Kaido and Luffy versus Kaido both times are very different in terms of Kaido's mentality. Kaido's obviously, because Yamato has lived this long saying this shit, even though Kaido's a dick of a father, she's still alive. You feel what I'm saying? There is a level of sympathy there. When Luffy came up on him and did that, Kaido was so disrespected, he needs to let this nigga know his place in the world. You know what I'm saying? I felt like the mentality he went in with this Yamato fight was I'm pissed off that my daughter still doesn't fucking see my side of the story, but I'll entertain this battle. But I don't feel like he went in with that level of I'm ready to kill you. Right? I still feel like he went easy, if that makes sense. I don't feel like he was pulling punches necessarily, but I don't feel like he was pulling out the stops he could have pulled out to end Yamato if he really wanted to. that makes sense. I mean, we seen this nigga pull out a blast breath. We seen this nigga turn into half dragon, full dragon. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of versatility that I don't see like he applied to that. It sounded like he was like, all right, we'll go mano y mano, bat to bat type thing, like a Dogtooth versus Goofy fight.
He did do the blast breath. Yamato
Oh, he did?
had
Okay.
her own blast breath, and they canceled each
Yeah,
other out on some.
because she had her.
shit.
Yeah, she had.
Oh,
her
okay.
own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I hear all your points, Bears. I think they're valid. Yeah, I hear your points. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think you got some valid points. Like, I could see it going either way. My mind is just set on the whole, she's still this nigga's kid, and it seems like the way I feel like her story was positioned, while even though Kaido was a dick to her, it was still like you're the princess of the kingdom. You feel me? So we're still protecting you and, you know, shielding you from the BS and not really going at you like we would if you was a regular nigga playing these games with us. You know what I mean? Like, the game she's playing is definitely like killable offenses. Like, Kaido's crew would have been dragged a nigga doing that shit long time ago. You feel me?
Man, that's a tough call. If anything, man. Fuck. That's tough. I don't know.
And as that second question, I come in a straw hats, but I could see her temporarily riding with the boys, just like how Odin rolled with the boys back on the Roger's crew. He wasn't an official pirate mate of Roger because he was still part of Whitebeard's crew. He was just interning on Roger's crew. But
That's fair.
Considering that she considers herself Odin all the way down to the core, and if they're trying to parallel between Roger and Luffy, I can see her joining as Odin in that case. I just don't see any purpose for her being on there. There's no use. There's nothing that she can do to help Odin did because he was actually able to read the poneglyphs. We already have Robin in that case. So I don't see any purpose for her being in the crew in that sense.
Ogres. And my only thing would be is if ogres are related to the bigger story somehow. That's it. We don't know enough about them at all. And like even Oda's like the way he sold the whole Kaido thing, strongest creature, all this other stuff. Some of the stuff Kaido seasoning in their fight about like ogres and how they're kind of perceived. I feel like maybe there's a connection that we're missing. That would be the only thing that they explore. And I'm kind of mad that it's not getting explored. That was one of my gripes. Like if we were to talk about our thoughts on the arc of me is like, okay, this whole thing was to build up to he's a creature, right? But the dragon thing is still just the fruit, not him. The creature standpoint is coming from the fact that he's an ogre. And we're not like, I mean, I feel like I've gotten more information on the niggas with 2 joints, the double arm niggas and the double leg niggas than I have about Kaido being a fucking ogre. You feel me? Like, and that's a little disappointing to me because I'm just like, all right, you're a Yonko, one of the biggest niggas in here. Like, I need a Kaido. Like, of all the flashbacks I've cared to see, I really want to see how this ogre nigga said, oh, hey, I'm going to be a pirate, and then became a successful pirate and, you know, had a kid with, what, a human? Is Yamato an ogre hybrid or like a full ogre? Like, did you find another ogre to fuck? Like, how does this thing work? But I guarantee we won't get the answers to that.
Something tells me that nigga did some Demon Slayer shit.
Right? It's just not, it's not, I need more development there for sure. Because I'm just like, I hate that Oda builds such a massive world of different races and then like doesn't really take, he does it with most of them, but in this case, it's a sign of him not taking the time to develop them, and that's a little disappointing to me. That's all. I need the info on the ogres because the zone fruits have fallen flat to me at this point. I think we're officially like, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see some from Queen, some from King, but to me, they more or less fallen flat. So now it's this ogre thing that's left as far as world building goes for me. Dragon Kaido hasn't done much to impress me.
I mean, he's that we don't know much about.
Who else?
Lunarians, that's King's race.
But I mean, we haven't been introduced to a character. Whose race, sorry?
King.
King who?
Oh, like King. Like Kaido King.
Wildfire.
Kaido King.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, he just, all that shit. I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah. Because when you said King, my mind went to Tekken. So I'm like, King, what? Oh, I didn't know he got. I forgot about the whole Lunarian call out, but I'm still like, I give you that, but that's rarely new. That's just as new as the ogre thing. I'm talking about like older races that we've known for a while that haven't been talked about.
What about the three-eyed tribe? We don't know about.
Oh, that shit. I guess that's a fair call out. But I mean, it's also through the lens of Puddin', so I didn't expect much development there in general. But it is what it is.
Well, considering that they're supposed to have some type of crazy power to be able to read the poneglyphs, that's something that people should know about.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, but when you say that, then to me, if that's a statement, my thought goes to, okay, we're not going to know about them now, but we will know about them later. To me, this ogre thing has not been tied to any bigger pieces in the story. The Lunarian thing has. So to me, I know that this will constantly keep coming up. The ogre thing hasn't. The ogre thing was solely centered around what is Kaido. Now we know that. Like, is this where it drops? Or are we going to tie this to a bigger piece in the story, which I think will come back from a flashback, which I'm hopefully expecting because that's what Oda does. Is there's flashbacks all around. Big Mom got a flashback, so I'm expecting one from Kaido, and I'm hoping that ties it into something that, a bigger piece in the world to where this makes more sense.
Well, supposedly there are theories that Kaido's race is derived from the ancient giants, because those niggas were way larger than the current giants.
Oh, like a Oars? Like Oars?
Because you can see, like Oars. Or nigga Shima. It's literally a giant skull with horns.
That's true. That's fair.
Like the theories that those niggas used to be out here running the world or whatever. And I think probably the very first. So depending on translation, you can hear ogre, you can hear oni. I prefer oni. The very first one we actually know of is actually the nigga from Thriller Bark.
Oars Jr.
Damn, I can never.
Oars Jr. Right?
The actual, it was Oars Jr.
No, the one who was the main villain.
Oh, Gecko Moria? Gecko Moria? He was one of them?
And those sharp teeth.
Oh, that's a reveal to me, bro. I didn't know that.
You ain't peeped the horns?
No,
I mean, I peeped that, but like I didn't know that that's what they were going with the whole Gecko Moria thing.
Huh?
That's different.
Yeah, I think about that either.
I mean,
so long story short, you're saying that Moria is the same race as Yamato and Kaido?
I think
we got issues with what? Do we got issues with Whitebeard or Kaido?
Huh?
You know how each of the Shichibukai, well, not each of them, but a good chunk of them had an issue with the Yonko, like Crocodiles was Whitebeard. Gecko Moria's got called out. Was it Kaido? Kaido destroyed his whole crew, I believe? Or was it Whitebeard?
Kaido killed his whole crew. His whole crew. He had beef with him.
Got you.
So he wanted to figure out a way to revive his whole crew, run up on Kaido and kill that nigga. But obviously, that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he is cranking it with Blackbeard right now, so he's still scheming. So
you got an X-Blood type. Never heard of that before.
Unless the nigga just got killed by Blackbeard.
I feel like we would have saw that, though, don't you think? I don't know.
They killed the nigga Absalom.
Facts. But at the same time, that would have been mad petty though, like to pretty much, because like I thought we originally thought that Moria got bodied by Doflamingo anyway. So I was personally surprised he was alive in the first place. So for him in my head to be coming back, oh peekaboo, I'm still alive, run up on Blackbeard, and then he actually gets bodied then and be like, wow.
All right.
So I don't know. I feel like he's just scheming with Blackbeard because they both scheming mother efforts. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a point.
But that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, definitely some new info for me, but I like you said, I'm interested to see where they're gonna go with that. I'm just trying to see if they have any call outs on the wiki yet for ogres. No, they don't.
Look up Onis.
Yeah, I looked up Oni on Gecko Moria stuff. They didn't call it out. They said he's just inspired by a Oni. Let me see. Oni here. If they have an extra page for it.
Hey, I'm calling him Oni. Because
I agree. I mean, it seems like that's where they're going with it. It's just a matter of like, yeah, there's no back stuff yet, I guess. There's no super details on the race yet, but find out when the time comes, I guess.
Big facts.
Anything else on One Piece?
Nope.
All right, time to close this out with MVPs and Goofies. Who wants to start?
I can kick us off.
Start, since I ain't got no MVP.
Wolves.
Goofy. We are already on the topic anyway. My Goofy is kind
Wolves.
Damn.
because my nigga, you a Yonko, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, you got these few crew of niggas. Well, you got essentially what's less than a quarter of the amount of your guys running up on you at your party. Take this bitch. And turn the tables on you. And then you let the main guy live multiple times just so he can come back stronger.
That's what Big Mom did.
You are a Goofy. Hit the back of the line, sir.
Nah, bro.
You should have killed that nigga Luffy the first time you
From the jump.
He should still go in front of Big Mom.
I want to destroy his will so he can work for me. No, my guy. When you saw that nigga come back the second time trying to throw, should have been like, all right, I'm tired of playing around with these kids because they keep trying to run up on me. I ain't torturing him enough, so I'm gonna kill him.
Facts.
Should have did, but you were Goofy. And then after you killed him, you would have ran through everybody else and did work.
Yep.
But now you over here fighting him again because you were Goofy, and you finna
Yep.
lose.
Yep.
So that's it.
That's
That
facts.
shit is wild.
That's facts though.
I agree with you though. I'm just saying that of all the Yonkos so far, Whitebeard was Luffy's friends, which was smart, I guess, or not Luffy's friend. I don't really know how to put it. But Big Mom made the same fucking mistake. That's all I'm gonna call out. Because I remember being that angry when that bitch had him sitting in the jail cell and was like, "I'm not killing him." I said, "Kill him." Why are you sparing this nigga? Like, kill him. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he talked shit over the phone to her face. He was like, "Fuck you, bitch, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Bitch, you should have went there and jawed him and murdered him." But no, you let him get out.
Because anybody else, she would have killed them, right?
Right?
Like taking her food, that's a killing offense. Like that was crazy. Anyway.
To me, at least Kaido was operating off what worked with the other two, because he did that to Basil and Kid. It didn't necessarily work on Kid, but he had that nigga locked up in the jail cell, for a couple of months. You feel me? And the other one it worked on, he got him to switch sides. So for me, I feel like he was operating on what worked. The only thing that will put him behind the line to me is that Big Mom definitely should have told his ass, like, kill this nigga, like kill him.
Right.
Like, I know he can't beat me, but he definitely, like, fucked my shit up. Like, you should kill him, like, as soon as you get the chance. And he did that. He tried. It just Luffy bounced back from that first shot.
I mean, the thing is, Big Mom said that she was going to want to kill him. That bullshitting.
Also facts.
Yonko versus
losing her fucking memory and shit like a Goofy.
Nah, that was some Goofy-ish.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight for y'all. Okay, Big Mom, what the fuck? Yo, all I'm saying is Luffy really flipped the script on all these niggas. I agree with you, man. Fuck Kaido, but he's not my Goofy.
That's facts. You want?
Yeah, sure. I'll toss my Goofy out. My Goofy's gotta go. I have not finished part 2 of season 2, but it's going to Clayman from motherfucking the time I got reincarnated as a slime. The fact that this nigga tried Rimaru was his biggest folly. I know it happened since, like, technically this plot has been played since the season 1 of the show, but I just have to say now, looking at Veldora, who was gonna get my MVP, but anyways, looking at Veldora, fucking Diablo, all these gold niggas that he's had, and I've spoiled myself a little bit to see just how powerful some of these people can get or get, and the amount of, like, unique skills of the people in his team. Like, Chuna has a skill where she cooks shitty things, but because her skill is that I'm a master chef, it tastes amazing. Like that's the type of niggas you're dealing with, whose abilities are literally breaking the fabric of reality, and you wanted to fuck with that nigga for whatever reason. Like, yeah, you're a goofy, bro. He's going to take you down bad. I don't know if it happens in season 2. I don't know if it's gonna happen in season 3. But Clayman, when that nigga Rimuru pull up, it's gonna be worse than Fall Move. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Y'all about to get jogged. So MVP for me has to go to Veldora. Just a few episodes of Slime that I've been watching. Veldora is still keeping. It's so nice to see him be Veldora outside down instead of just those journal shits at the end. It's hilarious to see him show up and interact and to see how actually feared he is. Because I don't think we got that whole time. Like the first season, they talked about Veldora and how big of a power vacuum he created. But like it was never really talked about how scared of this nigga people actually were. But knowing that he got reincarnated and seeing how like the Dwarf King is acting, I guess Elf King is acting, it's absolutely hilarious just to see that like, oh, Veldora really was not that nigga to play with, like at all. And I just like his commentary because he literally operates that way. He just shows up and he's like, yeah, I really don't care.
Bro.
But like I'm friends. Like the fact that Rimaru's group bowed down to Veldora when they saw him in front of Rimuru tells you how strong of a nigga that guy was. They were like, wait, you know this nigga? He was like, yeah, bro, we're friends. And they was like, all right.
Bro, wait until you're done with the season. Homie does like the funniest ish. Actually, you might have seen clips of it as far as like the video game homage. Have you seen that yet?
I have not seen that one yet.
I won't spoil it for you because it's the funniest thing I've seen in a while. And you're gonna be like, this mother effer really is just living his best life, however he wants to live it.
100%.
Great. But nah, I feel that 100%. This whole season was like it was good and it put it over the top because of Eldora. Beautiful. And like Loki, actually to go into that, that's my MVP. Like the whole second season of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, beautifully done. It was at the very beginning, you could argue it was a little slow. That is the only thing I can say bad about it. Everything else, mad decent. Action, animation, plot. Even like how it ended, decent cliffhanger enough, like all delightful. It was just very well done. Glad that it was still good after season 1. Looking forward to season 3. Wasn't confirmed yet. However, they did confirm a movie that's going to be released next year. So with that and the hype from season 2, it's probably going to be a season 3 also. So good-ish, long story short. For my Goofy, real easy, My Hero, Stain, I'm done. I don't even want to talk about him. Just Stain's effing trash. Like my God. That's it.
For sure. All right. Well, other than that, I think we are done with this episode of the AfrOtaku podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. And we will catch y'all in the next one for probably another chapter reaction when that happens. Yep. That's it for me.
Until next time.
Peace.
All right.